Hi everyone, you can tell it's a round number because there's a third face and it isn't a Scum fan. Welcome to episode 200 of the podcast. I'm Jack, as always joined by KC.
Now
And we are in the presence of royalty, at least that's what you would think based on his schedule. It's Connie.
No, everyone all right?
Yeah. How's things, mate? You all good?
All good, mate, yep.
I'm just glad you started that with it's a round number and not a round face, because I thought I was going to take that as an insult at first then.
Well, I mean, they're used to
true,
a
but I
fairly
don't
round
want to
face.
hear it.
Yeah, well, after that result on Wednesday, it was great to see that post-match press conference. All there, Skoobs gets to there in front of the microphone and goes, "Well, my work here is done." Jeff Shreves looks at him and goes, "What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything." Skoobs, didn't I? And he just fades away into the background. Voiceover kicks in, and that was the only folly the people of Leeds United ever embarked upon, except for Dave Hockaday and Wasim Boy, and potentially hiring Alfred Truder.
And the nightclub in the catacombs.
Yeah. I will just... Well, there's two things that I want to bring up first. First of all, Connie, you've just got here. How do you feel about the sacking of Jesse Marsh, seeing as you weren't here? And I have a quote from you from the day, if it helps.
I tried to get behind Jesse, I really did, and I liked his ideas, and he seems like a really good guy. Seemed like he did care about what he was trying to do, but we couldn't have gone on like that. I'm sorry, it's just... I know we can't really hark back to Bielsa all the time, but, he got sacked for far less than this, the run that we've been on and some of the teams that we're getting beat. I mean, to me, you should have gone after the Fulham and Leicester game, personally. I think the Liverpool result gave him the time that he got, really, but it's not like he hadn't had backing. It's a shame because he is a nice guy and he seems, but, as league table, we can't allow for niceties, can we?
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is, obviously I agree with all that, but the quote was me messaging you saying Marsh sacked, and the reply was thank fuck.
Yep.
So,
yep.
So,
I
think
that second half against Forest just summed it up, didn't it? We're just abject. There was no there. It was awful.
Yeah. But there is a new favourite in the betting. Now, there is a chance that this is just because someone put something on Wacko, and that might not even be true. Because there is definitely a post, I've seen it floating about on Twitter. But Alfred Truder, recently sacked as Ajax manager, is the new favourite. And as with anyone who's paid any attention to Ajax recently, I want to make very clear that no.
He's a bit of a project, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
And
he had a rep.
Arthur loves a fixer-upper. He loves a fixer-upper in the same way that, like, all men go through that phase of like, if this is going to be my project, I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to it. And then 2 months in, it's just still there. Like the wall I was going to decorate in the summer that I'm still staring at now that doesn't have any paint on it. Like one day I will finish it. I will. And Victor will sort of build up one of these managers. He will.
Well, I hope Victor Ott sees this because you might get the job.
Plenty of other people have applied for it, so why not?
I mean, I have been looking at jobs at Leeds United, so this could be a football manager type thing where I just have to send a CV in and hope for the best.
You could at least get a coaching job. We're lacking in that at the minute now, anyway. So.
Have you been reading too many articles about Will Still and getting ideas above your station?
Would Leeds be willing to pay the 22 grand a game fine for me not having my pro license, or A license, or B license, or C license?
But you do have one.
Yeah, I've got one, and I've got one from America. I'm basically Kevin Blackwell because I've been to Ajax as well, and Kevin Blackwell famously had a great rapport with all his players.
Yeah, I was going to say if you're gonna want to do any job coaching at Leeds, I wouldn't be mentioning the American stuff to the Leeds fan base at the minute.
No.
Yeah, I kind of.
Although it will get, in fairness, it will get a load of Americans defending you on Twitter, even beyond our logic and reasoning.
No, just look at the Leeds fan and just say, "I play with width." We're like, yay!
But yeah, back to Schroeder. Just reasons why if you look at his career, he has a really good record as an assistant to good coaches. When he's had the job, sacked from 20 for being bad, sacked from Hoffenheim for being bad. Won the league with Club Bruges, but he took over from Philippe Clement when they were already set up, and legitimately, I might have won the league. Whoa. Connie there with his professionalism.
Listen, I'm rusty. I've not been on for a while.
He won the league, but like I say, it was set up where he could barely fail. It's like if I took over from Postecoglou right now at Celtic, you're probably still going to win it.
Yeah.
And then goes to Ajax and was so bad that he was hounded out. Massive protests from the fans, massive protests from the squad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a squad as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So can we not have him, please?
At the moment, unless there is any movement with Iraola, I'm getting closer and closer to the point of like, just give it to Benitez for the rest of the season. I think he'd keep us up. I don't think it'd be great, but
I've got to agree with you there, mate. I think me and you spoke, Jack, and I've mentioned Rafa, haven't I?
Yeah,
I know it's not a long term, but if our sole aim now is just staying in the Premier League and Iraola's not available, I've got to agree with Casey on that one. Yeah,
it's one of them. Like I have to admit, like I will say it straight away. I don't want Rafa.
No, I don't.
No, it won't be us. No.
And I don't actually think our defence is necessarily good enough to do what he'd want to do. I do think he'd probably be able to keep us up. If they do get backed into a corner, and if they get backed into a corner, it's a failure at board level. But if they do, of the people available just to take it till the end of the season, he's probably better than Nuno.
Yeah.
So he's probably the best one. There is still a bit of me going, we might have to keep Skoobs an extra week, because if Chelsea don't win again next weekend, they might sack Graham Potter.
That'd be the ideal, wouldn't it?
If we got Nuno in and went to a back three, do you think that means we might actually get the best out of Junior Firpo?
It means we might get the best out of Pascal Struijk.
Yeah, I'm going to say, we've got to put Struijk though.
But basically, it sounds like there's like a load of unconfirmed rumours that someone's going to be there today and it'll get announced tomorrow, but no one has any fucking clue, and you can tell that by the way the market's gone. I will say the same thing that I have said every single time we have talked about this since we first talked about sacking Marsh, and that is Victor Orta, like Steven Gerrard, don't rule it out.
Don't. Please don't.
I don't want him, but I'm telling you, I've been saying it now for months. Now that the manager stuff is out of the way, Scum 2 Leeds 2. That was better than expected.
A lot better.
Yeah, it was great when we went 1-0 up, because I just started laughing. Because it was just the most Leeds thing to do, just rock up at Old Trafford having just sacked your manager. Yep, 54 seconds in, take a 1-0 lead. Why wouldn't we?
It wasn't just that we scored after 54 seconds, it was that we scored a Marsh goal. Like, Strout pushing up from fullback, pressing high, winning the ball. Nonto gets it, goes direct towards the middle. 1-2, great finish. Like, it was exactly the sort of goal that he wanted us to score. You couldn't really pray for a better start than that if you're Skubala.
No. But the thing was, though, and I know we were just chatting just not long before, it would deserved it as well. Well, no, obviously a minute in, you can't really say you deserve it after 50
we were
seconds.
all over them.
But the first half, we deserved to be in front. We outplayed them. For me, we did. Vegas barely got a touch, and we were all over them. I know McKennie and Adams seemed very, on it in centre of field and what have you, and they just seemed on it. And then, obviously, when they put Rashford through the middle, that changed it for me and brought Sancho on.
Yeah, they put Rashford in the middle, and then the crosses started coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
which
seems
is a bit weird, isn't it?
counterproductive when you had Veghorst up front, but they just the pressure mounted at that point, and we had Junior Firpo on the pitch. So,
yeah, well,
there was always going to be an error.
That was the next thing that I was going to bring up. Like, obviously, he's had the perfect start, but you haven't had long to get yourself in there. The last thing that you need is Sinistera off injured after 7 minutes and Strauch off with a concussion after 23.
Yeah.
When you've just got into the job. But I thought Somerville was good when he came on. Obviously, his cross made it 2-0. I don't know what you're on about Varane putting it into his own goal. I didn't see that. That was Somerville's, right?
Yeah.
He was good, and as much as Firpo, I still think could have done better on Scum's first goal. I thought he did fine as well.
He was solid enough, wasn't he? Barring the goal, it were solid enough.
And he
it?
took his yellow card like a champion this time.
Oh,
Best yellow card to see that
class.
man take.
That was superb. Well, yeah, that's what we're going to be seeing in a few weeks when Super League kicks off again. Superb tackle.
Yeah. Well, that's what you want. I mean, as much as it's incredibly cynical, and there is a very good argument that they should change the rule to make things like that a red card, but they haven't changed the rule. So yeah, do it. Like, absolutely do it.
Definitely. Yeah, it's not catching him. So
he was away, and it's quite nice to be able to say this. It was not Junior Firpo's fault in any way.
No, it was was that one of McKennie's passes?
I think it was McKennie. I think he missed his tackle. Did he misplace a pass or something like that? It was McKennie though that had done something.
Yeah, well, you mentioned them earlier, Con, so I'll bring it up now. You talked about the McKennie and Adams partnership. I was not at all surprised that Adams having such a good game because I've said before, if you have 40% or less of the ball, there's very few midfielders I'd rather have. Because he's just perfect in that situation. But I thought McKennie was a lot better than his brief appearance against Forest.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's because we didn't have the ball. And he was much better in that situation because I do think he gave it away a little bit too much in midfield.
Yeah, there were some passes that were a bit off, and it were like there were a couple that I noticed where he didn't really get his head up. He played it blind, and I know it wasn't like on edge area, I don't like that, but still, it were like simple things that he did do a couple of times on ball. But I think as a whole, though, I think him and Adams, the marshalled it well, especially first half, though, definitely. And might say a lot better than Forest game.
I think I probably ended up nitpicky a bit with McKennie, but I did notice and it's not entirely his fault because I think there's about 3 other people who probably could have been better involved in trying to stop their equaliser. But as the ball goes to sort of their left back, he just sprints out about 10, 15 yards. And then they play a forward pass and he's just completely out of the game. But again, there's still other people who can stop that situation from happening after he's done that.
Yeah, that one looked a bit like Rocker had one. It was the one that they scored just before half time against Man City, where obviously they are told to press and press, but if your starting position is too far away, you have to go, oh, I can't make it, so I won't. And we've had a couple of them this season where because they're told to press incessantly, they've gone when their starting position is 8 yards away instead of 4 yards away. And it just takes you completely out of the game.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't think that there was anyone. I don't think there was anyone in a Leeds shirt that I could say had a bad game. I thought everyone played pretty well. Like we talked about it beforehand, and I still think, despite being a little bit unsighted and stuff, I still think Meslier should save Sancho's shot. But he also made several other good saves and did have a good game.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the thing I know we were on about it with Sancho's goal. I saw it late, obviously. I think, did it take a clip off someone on way through?
I've seen several replays and I'm still not sure. I don't think it did, but I'm not 100%.
But I mean, I know we were talking about it, weren't we? And to me, the way he dived, his arms weren't fully outstretched. It looked like he was trying to catch it.
From where very Jordan Pickford. His arms became a lot smaller than they should be.
But I just thought, given where he's at, where he was when the ball got to him, punch it, do anything, just get it away, and other than do that.
Not that.
Yeah, just anything but what he did. I mean, but it's harsh because then, like, not long after, he makes that save from Varane's bullet header from point blank range, doesn't he? So it's harsh, but it's what it is, isn't it, I suppose. But I don't think he could have done all about the Rashford goal. I think that would just bit of quality, wasn't it, with his movement and everything. But
yeah, I mean, you can tell Rashford's in ridiculous form at the minute.
yeah.
It's almost like his contract's up at the end of the season.
The thing with Meslier is as well, and I suppose this probably goes for all goalkeepers at the bottom end of the table, is that if you face as many shots as we do in games like that, there's always a chance you're going to make a mistake, and at some point one of them is going to be a goal. Like Melior's had a couple that he gets away with, but the amount of games you can go through this season, like, yeah, he made a mistake there, but he's also pulled off some absolute worldies.
Yeah, definitely.
But
so Meslier out, Robles in.
Wow.
Sorry, Joel. As it,
Yeah,
he
Joel.
seems to have lost.
Joel.
He seems to have lost a last name. He's just become Joel.
Yeah, I'm guessing apparently Vince McMahon is booking Leeds United. We were sort of hanging on, and obviously, as soon as it got back to 2-1, I was fearing the worst. I mean, I say I was fearing the worst at 2-1. It was at 2-0 because I backed Scum to win when we went 2-0 up. and then just before the minute 2-1, I backed Scum or draw. I was like, no, I need to pay for my beer if we throw this away.
You needed a bit of a reality check.
Yeah, but we still got a point. Obviously, it's a good point. In the set, I mean, we nearly did get a third. Brendan Aronson's free kick hitting the post, which was not even a good free kick, but it was an even worse wall.
If you were David De Gea and that had gone in, you'd be absolutely fuming with your wall.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
The parting of the Red Sea was not as wide as that wall became at that jump.
Yeah. And it's not like he's run up and like John Arne Reese smashed it.
No, almost like Ever didn't it? Yeah, it was almost like it was like I say, it was a crap free kick, but yeah, I wouldn't have been happy if that had gone in.
I'd have been on a table. But yeah, but it's an excellent result. Like, Skubala definitely did himself as so much credit, and he has done. What we'll say is, from the couple of press conferences he's done, don't get me wrong, he shouldn't be anywhere near getting the job, but seems like a nice guy. I hope that he gets to stay on as a coach or in his 21's job, because depending on who it is, they might want a different 21's coach.
Yeah.
But I hope he sticks around. He seems like a nice guy.
Since Otter's been here, have we had someone bringing their own 21's coach?
I don't know.
No, because Corberan was here before Bielsa.
Yep.
Yeah. Jackson took over from him, and he was under 18's manager.
Yeah, he just went
moved
up.
Didn't he, from 18s, did Jackson, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I mean, looking at it, and I think it's probably the way it should be. The 21's manager should be separate from that. And I know Bielsa, more than anyone, like to have the integration between the two. But realistically, I don't think you should be hiring a first team manager who would be bringing their own under 21's coach, because you just can't rely on them being there long enough.
No.
Yeah, the other thing that I would say about it is, you say the integration. I think we've seen a bit of that this season, because the under 21s started out playing really nice football, and the football got progressively worse as the season went on. But I think it is just literally because they've got more and more marsh as the season has gone on.
As we said, it was nice the fleeting appearance of Mateo Joseph coming on, playing as a holding midfielder, basically, for those last few minutes. Him and Ruter leading the line about 40 yards from our own goal.
Yeah, sorry, I was just checking something to see the team news, and Chris Sutton's predicted that we're going to win this game, which is the worst thing that could have possibly happened, because he's a moron. But I don't think that there isn't anything particularly news-wise in between. But there is one thing that's worth bringing up. About 50 minutes ago, Southampton have sacked Nathan Jones. It is. I mean, obviously they've been. I think they've won. What was it? He's had 8 Premier League games. He's lost 7 of them and beat Lampard's Everton.
Yeah.
Which is pretty bad. The football's been absolutely turgid. The Southampton fans hated him after about 3 games. He's come out in interviews and basically gone, "No, I am the best coach in the world," blah, blah, blah. And they all hated him. So what you don't need to do is be 1-0 up against 10-man Wolves after 25 minutes and lose.
Yeah, badly as well. It was shocking.
I mean, if he gets a spurt on, there is a 10:55 train that departs Southampton into London and then on to Luton. So at least he can get home fairly sharpish after this.
Well, I thought you just said the direct train up to fucking Leeds there. I'm just wow.
Well, Rob Edwards plays nice football. Maybe Southampton will get Rob Edwards from Luton and Nathan Jones can have his job back.
I know he kind of had a bit of fun made of him from his time at Stoke. Because they beat us, didn't he, when he was in charge there?
He lost. I think he lost his first game or 2 with them, and then beat us. And that was the famous, like, God on his side, the square ball starting the God Rod.
Yeah,
that giant picture that he had put up on the wall of the tunnel of him celebrating was from the Leeds game, and it was like his only win in his first 7 or something.
Like you can't. I don't want to take away from what he has done in his 2 spells at Luton, because he's done fantastic work with them. But these other 2 jobs, he comes out with some things at times, and it got a bit Lampardy. With it never as bad and never as well. He didn't have a chance for it to go on as long as it did with Lampard. But some of his comments, you were just there going, God, if that was one of our managers, you'd just hound them out.
Yeah, I will just interrupt to give you a great stat from a friend of the podcast, Ali, who has, he's got in touch with us a few times. 11 teams have taken a point at Southampton. Nathan Jones has not. Which I think says everything.
They'll always have that League Cup quarter-final win.
Yeah, they were really good in that game as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gone. That's fine. Via their early market, there is no one standing out. Gerrard 3-1, Jesse Marsh 5-1, and Southampton did by all accounts want Marsh before we got him, because they're another in the Red Bull stable after having had Rabbit Hutch for so long.
Yeah,
because which famously went really well.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, Hasenhüttl for them did go well at first.
They did concede 9 twice.
Yeah, but
and he survived that.
I said it stayed up. Fine.
I mean, the first time it happened that season, they got as high as 4th, and then they got relegated.
Yeah, that was the one where they had the amazing start, and that was it.
Yeah.
So obviously we knew this one wasn't going to be the longest one because there isn't much between. The only bit of news I can think of is that Morton Spencer signed a new longer contract. He's looked okay in the 21s. That's about as much, especially for a midfielder playing centre back. He's also grown about 4 inches over the summer, which is one of the reasons why I think he might have dropped into centre back a bit. So Scum again at home today, 2 p.m.
I mean, I'll be amazed if Weghorst starts this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think they'll just start with Rashford at 9? Because Martial's still out, and McTominay and Anthony are still out for them.
Oh,
Casemiro's still suspended as well, isn't he?
And Casemiro's still suspended. So you would think that they can't change a great deal. Like, you'd think it'd have to be Fred and Sabitzer in middle again.
Yeah.
Sancho probably starts this time, but like Sancho for Weghorst and Rashford moves up front.
Yeah. Basically what they did in second half against us, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't massively impressed by Garnacho.
No,
not just in terms of his poor man's Luke Ayling attempt throughout that game, but I just didn't think he affected the game all that much either.
Well, if your thing is a lot of it is getting in behind and running at people, and the right back who is up against you sets like a record for successful Premier League tackles in a game, then you've been dominated by that fullback.
Yeah, I think we've got to mention as well.
And how did our impressive signing for Red Bull get on it? Oh no, wait, it's still Luke Ayling.
Still £200,000 Luke Ayling. But I think we have got to mention Woburn as well, because I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
I'll tell you what, for a left back signing, he's doing very well at centre back.
To be fair, whenever he's played, I mean, when he came off his debut against Cardiff, didn't go in midfield, and he was fine there. But he just seems like a solid signing, doesn't he?
Honestly, the rate he's going, I think left back is probably like his third position. Because, like you say, I thought he did a really good job as sort of the sitting midfielder.
Yeah.
And has been excellent at centre back.
He's been unreal. He's been really good.
Not so much today because of who we're playing. But if we don't have Mark Locker and we're in a game where we expected to have more possession, I think it probably would be worth moving him into midfield to play as part of a three. I'd rather have Locker there, but while Locker's injured, I think he'd probably be the next one.
Oh, the pace if you had Verba and Rocker.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we were trying to see if he was out or not, and answering the press conference. Rocker, Sinistera, and Cooper are all being assessed.
Right.
So we'll see, because I think it makes a big difference. Because as fine as Firpo did, I think if Cooper's fit, Cooper probably comes in and Verba goes to left back instead of Strauch.
I think I'd be all right with that for this sort of game. I think I'd be all right with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if Cooper isn't fit, it's just Firpo for Strauch.
Yeah.
Even if Locker's fit, I think he probably won't start. I would, because I'd always play him because I think he's the only one that progresses the ball through the middle. But we're gonna not have much of the ball for long periods, so he'll probably pick McKennie and Adams again.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, though, if we do listen to Danny Murphy, Mark Rocker's not good enough for the Premier League, though, so we have to take everything. We have to take our opinions on board.
In fairness, if you listen to half the people in the ground, it's that.
Yeah.
But he flies a bit under the radar, does Rocker. I'm just trying. Obviously, even if Sinistera passes a fitness test, I don't think he's going to start. So I suppose the only question is, in that case, does Somerville just come in for him? Or does Aronson come in for him? Because Aronson looked a bit more like himself when he came on.
I'd put Aronson in, personally. I think how he presses in that final third when we do manage to get up there and the amount of interceptions he makes in that final third, I'd be tempted to put him in. Normally, I'd be saying Somerville, but I think just this sort of game, when we do, if it goes how we think it's going to go, when we get up there, I think Aronson could be the one to make a difference up there, personally.
Yeah, and I think defensively he's got more about him, and that's not a knock on Somerville. But
no, it's just not his game, is it? That's not in his game, is it?
No. It's quite interesting.
I'm going to say, as president of the Crescencio Somerville fan club, I would definitely start Somerville.
It's no, I mean, if you base it on sort of form, then there probably is a better argument for Somerville starting, but like you say, I think Aronson looked a lot better on Wednesday night than he has done in the last few weeks. And again, gives us that option, if need be, to drop it and make it a midfield three and move Harrison across.
Yeah, it's obviously, it's going to be another tough one today, but that on Wednesday has given me a bit more hope. I'm just trying to think if there is. Do you think that the actual pattern of play will be pretty much the same as Wednesday?
Yeah, I think we'll come out all guns blazing again, like they do. I think with crowd behind them as well at start, and then it'll be as the game goes on. You'd expect Man United to impose themselves then, but if we can get another point out of it, I'd snap your hand off for another point. I'm sure we're all in agreement with this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are, as much as we might hate them and everything. It is still. It might not be the most expensive squad ever assembled anymore because of Chelsea's January. Chelsea.
It's still up there, though, isn't it? And I know it's not the Man United of old, but it's still Man United. Like I say, as much as we can't stand them, it's still Man United. They've still got quality in there, and as much as it pains us all to say it, they're a better team.
We still don't have a great record against them since we've come back up.
No.
Well, I've just had a look because we always pick out a bet now. And you remember last season, Man United were even money to win at Elland Road. And I said, that is one of the best bets I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
They're 10 to 11 today. So it's nearly the same price.
More or less, isn't it?
I would say that we are playing a little bit better because that was the real falling apart bit under Bielsa.
Yeah.
When it happened last time. But I think that the Wednesday's result has skewed the market towards us a little bit. So there's probably some value on the other side. So I'll probably be looking in that direction for my bet.
To be fair, when I was looking on Wednesday, there were a lot of places that they had leads at like 11-2. I thought that's quite small odds is that for us, to be fair, given circumstances going into it.
Sorry, I've just logged into my Paddy Power account, and the first thing that popped up was an offer as free as Jesse Marsh's weekends.
Wow. Can always rely on Paddy Power to bring a bit of humour to a party.
I will claim my free £2 bet builder on the Leeds game there.
And do that after. Just do it after the team news because Skoobs might do something mental yet. We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, bless him. I like Skoobs.
Yeah.
Like you say, I don't, unless there's some sort of miracle in the next couple of games, I don't particularly want him until the end of the season, but I like him. It's worth keeping around.
Yeah.
Have you got a bet there, Jack?
Yeah, I am just checking one thing, seeing what the top price is. Yeah. Because the market's skewed towards us a bit, I'm going to have Scum -1, 13-5.
Fair enough.
And I mean, obviously, I don't want to win that bet.
I have got Rashford, Fernandez, and Nonto to have one or more shots on target each, and that is 5-1.
That's not a bad shout, to be fair.
Oh,
It's boosted
obviously,
from 5-2.
Obviously, we won't be tracking yours, Con, but have you got one?
I haven't yet. No, I'm not going to lie. I will be having a look though after this.
You can get involved in the score though. Right, there is no. It always goes badly when I'm optimistic. So I'm just going to say exactly what I said at Old Trafford and say we get beat 2-0.
I was only one goal off, wasn't I?
Yeah, you had us losing 3-2, which for a long time I thought was going to be correct at the end of that game.
Because we're at home, I'm now going to back us to get the 2-2 draw.
Oh.
I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say we're going to beat them 1-0.
February 12th. Remember the day.
When I used to do the podcast regularly, I always like to think I was quite optimistic with the outlook towards results, apart from when we had Heckingbottom. But no, I'm going to say they're going to nick it. I fancy it.
Yeah, well, it's still true of Heckingbottom. There's the only one where I didn't know what he was trying to do. As much as I didn't like what Marsh was trying to do, I could tell what he was trying to do.
Yeah, in his head, he had a plan.
Heckingbottom. Yeah. How Sheffield United are doing all right is beyond me.
Yeah, they're doing really well as well, aren't they? I know Burnley are obviously absolutely running away with it, but
in fairness,
really well.
If we're just talking about promotion, so is Sheffield United. I haven't realised this. Burnley 68, Sheffield United 61, Middlesbrough in third, 51.
Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, Sheffield United have got a game in hand.
Both Middlesbrough have played one more than both Burnley and Sheffield United.
So chat.
So
if I learn anything from that League One promotion season, is that having games in hand is basically points in the bag.
Yeah.
They are in a completely comfortable lead, and nothing could possibly go wrong.
Absolutely.
Except an FA Cup club.
Yeah, I was going to say fifth place Millwall have only played 29, so Charlie and Jamie might do well, and Luton are in fourth, which just shows what getting rid of Nathan Jones can do. So now I'm scared of Southampton. So yeah, I think that's everything news wise. I will once again just check Phil Hayes' Twitter because if there was a tweet saying X will be in the stand today, then you don't want to have just missed it when we end this. We've talked about it a bit. Obviously, Iriola is probably the one that I feel like I want the most. I'm surprised that Knutson was never talked about at all, and Casey's talked about it a lot. But is there anyone in particular that you would want, Cobb?
I think if we can't get Iriola, I think it'd be a difficult one, but I won't mind. And I'm going to try and say his name properly. Postecoglou.
Yeah.
Celtic, but
he's another one.
Scotland, didn't they? But yeah, it seems like a coach.
He's another one that everything I've seen I like. I watched quite a lot of Celtic's Champions League run, even though they lost a lot of those games, there was a lot of positives in it. Obviously, I haven't watched much of the actual league season, to be fair. But
no, not to be fair, I haven't seen much.
With the position they're in, I'd be surprised if he left before the summer.
Yeah, well, I know I was talking about this with Berkey and yesterday, and he was saying that, well, we both said that he's going to win the league. And it's going to win the league. So it's hard. It's going to be difficult to get him. But I think if this... And to be fair, I respect Iriola for what he's saying about the compensation fee and everything for him. And I respect his loyalty, to be fair, because there's a lot of coaches that just think, well, Sodgy, I've got an opportunity to go to Premier League, earn a lot of money, I'm off. And the fact that he hasn't done that, I like. But
I do think Leeds, if they want that, need to just bite the bullet.
Yeah,
as much as it's a lot of money for a manager, it is. I mean, what would it be? Under a quarter of a Weston McKennie.
Yeah.
And what's the thing that really makes the most difference? It's an odd one.
Because would we still have to pay that if we got him in the summer anyway?
I don't know if he would in his contract up.
I did read something about that.
I'm sure his contract's up at end of season.
Yeah, I think I did read something about that, but there was also that story going around that he is willing to renegotiate that deal with them.
Yeah.
It's not listing out on Transfermarkt. Oh well, but yeah, I think his contract is up in the summer, so maybe we'll see. Maybe that is another argument, I suppose, for getting him the firefighter till the end of the season.
We could just go down Chelsea route and get Gus Hiddink or Avram Grant until end of the season. Always work for them.
Big Phil.
Wow. Yes.
Big Sam.
I was just going to say, not the other big fun. Still waiting for that.
As 8 Ball Ali is suggesting, but he has said Frank Hayes the entire time, but Lawns are like third, so I just don't see it happening. But the return of O'Leary.
Wow.
Yeah. he's been holding out for a top job for all these years, and he's finally settled for coming back to Leeds.
Get O'Leary in, you play Mateo Joseph, you play Sonny Perkins, you play Darko JB.
You get the babies in.
You play Diogo Montero, even though none of us have ever seen him.
I'm just worried that with Mateo Joseph, he's going to confuse him and start playing him at centre back, even though we originally signed him as a left back. Just Joseph Mateo.
Has O'Leary had a job since he went in Saudi?
I don't believe so. I will check, but I'm fairly sure that he got sacked by Villa, took that job, and I think was happy with the money. Yeah, nothing since Al Ahly in 2011.
Now, as much as I love David O'Leary and what he did at Leeds and everything, I don't really blame him for what happened there. I really don't. But can you really count yourself for a football manager if you had a job for 12 years?
No. What I didn't realise was there was 4 years between him leaving Villa and him taking that Al Ahly job.
What? I didn't realise it was that long. I thought I knew a bit of a guy.
Because he went into the Villa job not that long after he'd left us. Obviously, he took. I remember him taking Eric Bakker there on loan in 2005-06.
Yes.
So he's obviously there around then.
Yeah.
But yeah, a weird one. Clearly, I don't know if he was just one of those that just got to the point where it's like, actually, this isn't for me.
If
you work with a liar like Ridsdale and a dickhead like Doug Ellis, can I say that and not be sued? It's not a clinical term, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I think most people will agree anyway. Fine.
Yeah.
can say he took the Villa job in June 2003, so that means he had a full year out, didn't he?
Yeah, we sacked him start of 02, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had Venables for the Man City game at start of 0203.
Yeah, then it was Peter Reid won it at the end of that, wasn't it? So,
As an aside, I was trying to think about this the other day. Have we ever had one of our managers signed by another club while they're here?
George Graham, Spurs.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's how O'Leary got the job.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no.
Came to mind.
I was going to say, let's be honest. No, that and Martin O'Neill turning it down is how O'Leary got the job.
Well, yeah.
I was just thinking about it the other day, and I was mostly focused on like post-relegation. I'm just thinking it really speaks to the shower of shite that we had as managers, that no one ever wanted our managers.
Can we count Dennis Wise getting poached and being potentially a scout at Newcastle?
I was about to say exactly that. And
did they want him as a manager? No.
I don't think anyone wants him as a manager.
Did Gus Poyet go from assistant straight into a job as well?
He was he hired by Spurs?
Oh, yeah, it was straight to be there.
Yeah, because didn't he retire from playing at Tottenham?
I know he did play there. He was there after Chelsea, wasn't he? In there?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Technically, and I don't know if he ever played, but he was registered as a player at Swindon when him and Wise were there.
Well, remember him saying, like, didn't we go on a training camp to like Cyprus or Greece or somewhere like that? And everyone said he was the best player on the field. Still,
he played in a friendly. He played in a friendly for us.
I knew he played, and I didn't know if it was like a training game or a friendly, but everyone said he was the best player on the field still.
Yeah, because we were legitimately trying. I believe we were legitimately trying to talk him into coming out of retirement for the rest of the season.
It'd have been like the return of Paul Scholes for us.
And neither of them could tackle. So...
No. Well, to be fair, we had Dennis Wise in there to teach him all that how to boot someone.
Yeah, and I suppose the only other one, even though it wasn't first team job, is obviously Mark Jackson.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
And Corberan being nicked from youth team manager to first team manager.
Yeah. But no, I think first team manager, for as long as I've been watching him, I think there is who's gone to another managerial post. I think it is just George Graham, isn't it?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, can't think of anyone else.
Everyone else was sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else at all, no.
Well, cool. So unless there's anything else that we need to talk about, I think that we're good to go.
So.
Yep.
Right, nice one. Well, it's been nice having you back on, Con. We'll probably see you in about 50 episodes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'll be back for a rounded up number, mate. Yeah, don't you worry about that.
Yeah, in fairness, I'm glad that you were available for this one because we've struggled to get one in this week as well between us two. It's hence the weird Sunday morning podcast. But yeah, that will do us. Hopefully we can get a result and we will be back one of the evenings this week. Tuesday is my best guess, but we'll see what happens.
I am on half term this week, so I'm wide open.
Okay, cool.
I will try to be about because like Casey's kids are on holiday, so
you might actually.
I may be
able but you've got to look after those kids. I have no kids to look after.
Well, yeah, there is that, but in between like that and like wedding stuff, and yeah. I will try and get on though again. Yeah, definitely. So
right, cool, nice one. In that case, I wonder what KC is going to say here. So I've been Jack. See you.
Just gonna do. I've been Casey. Have a good one.
I've been Connor. Nice to see you all again.
I was really hoping Casey would say I've been Connie.
It's because I've shifted up the pecking order in Connie's absence. I'm now second, so I've got less to worry about.
Oh, you've got loads to worry about. You just don't think about it enough.
Ignorance is bliss, Casey. Never forget.
Oh, if ignorance is bliss, we should hire Nathan Jones. Cool. In a bit.